Oh my god, yeah, for those of you who don't know, that my Stanley Cup video was satire and sarcasm, although I was being legit when I said I got mine from Temu for free. And yes, that cup is made from the exact same materials and from the same exact mold where Stanley brand makes theirs. And yeah, Stanley makes theirs in China. So for those of you who don't know, that comment wasn't approved by TikTok because she said sweatshop, and of course they didn't approve it, but somebody had posted, oh yay, are we supporting sweatshops now? That's funny you say that, because how fucking ignorant do you have to be to not realize that you are on a communist China social media? TikTok is owned by ByteDance, a Chinese company. Not only that, but you cannot get out anywhere in America. You cannot go to a dollar store. You cannot go to a Meijer, a Walmart, a Kroger. You cannot go to any mom and pop shop anywhere in the United States. You cannot buy a vehicle and put gas in it without that gas coming from a country that has child labor or sweatshop labor. In fact, over 1/2 of all nations on this planet, and I'll tell you, there's 195 of them, over 90 of them actively participate in child or forced labor, or what they would consider forced labor, where they're being paid literally pennies to what people should be. But you know, just like they said, we didn't start this capitalism. This goes all the way back to colonialism and to slavery and the start of capitalism. That's what this goes back to. Companies like Stanley, they're the ones that are utilizing China and other countries to make their cups, but they're charging you anywhere from $50 a cup all the way up to $100 a cup. You know who they're not paying? They're not paying the people that are actually making this stuff in China, but the people over there in China, nothing worse than not having a job, right? So what's worse than being exploited? Not being exploited at all. So a lot of those people are very grateful and happy and are willing to work at those prices, because having a job is better than not feeding your family. And that is the sad reality of the global market chain and capitalism, and not just America, because first of all, America, everybody thinking that like, whoa, we're like number one in the world. We're not. We're not. And we don't control shit. In fact, everything that we import and export is made in another country. Over 92% of all plastics are made in Asia. Almost all the fabrics are made in Africa, India, China. You cannot go on Amazon. If you've ever shopped on Amazon, 99% of the shit on Amazon is coming from a country that partakes in sweatshops and forced labor, or child forced labor. So for somebody to say that, you're really ignorant, because you wouldn't be using TikTok if you didn't support communist China. In fact, I don't see you over here boycotting TikTok. I see you utilizing it, right? Like everybody else, because it's cool to hop on a trend, right? You know what is a really cool trend to hop on? Fucking educating yourself. Not only educating yourself, but being educated. Because you can't sit there and spew shit like, oh yay, we're supporting sweatshops now. Yeah, Temu has the same exact molds, because those cups Temu is selling are made in the same exact factory in China where Stanley makes theirs. And it's funny as hell that they undercut the Stanley brand, who is literally financially raping Americans and other people in the Western world who are dumb enough to pay $50 or more for a cup. They're undercutting them by using their same materials and the same molds from the same factories that make the name brand. And that to me is hilarious, because you know what that does? That devalues Stanley. Those people are going to work no matter what. Not buying Stanleys is not going to stop them. They're going to end up switching to some other molds and doing something else. But you know what? It's funny to me because, yeah, the more people that go to Temu and buy one of the cheaper cups that are made with Stanley's real materials and real molds, the more that Stanley's going to lose its value. It shouldn't be valued at that anyway, because somebody at the top of that company is making money because they're paying them shit. They're paying shit for the bringing it here to America, or to shipping it to people, even shipping it to people in Europe. They're not making, you know, who's making all that money? The people at the top of The company is making that. And how stupid must you be to allow them to financially rape you? You gotta be dumb to not even jump on a train and not even look into where that is coming from, where it is made. It fucking tells you where it's made. Really, come on now. Right here, if you look at a Stanley Cup, read. Not only that, but go and search and look. Go on Google Maps and look up the company. Look up the places where these people are working. Not only that, but a lot of textile sweatshops still exist here in the United States. So don't sit there and say, are we supporting sweatshops? What are you doing to change it? Tell me that and show me that. Not only that, but almost 100% of all fabrics and synthetic fabrics are not made here in America. So where are we getting all our clothes from? Oh, I'm going to show you that. Let's go by sweatshop, child forced labor, and the fabric. Let's go by the fabric, the companies that are doing the fabrics. 13 fashion name brands that still use forced child labor or sweatshop forced labor on adults, which is a human rights violation, not just in America, but globally. That's a human rights violation. Aeropostale, Adidas. ASOS, Disney, Forever 21, Gap, H&M, Nike, anybody? Because I know you ain't wearing Adidas or Nike shoes on your damn feet, are you? Because if you do, you support sweatshop and child forced labor. Primark, Uniqlo, Urban Outfitters, Zara, and let's not talk about Amazon and where they get all their shit directly from, third party. But let's go back to that list of 90 countries out of 195 globally across 7 continents where 8 billion people live. Let's go back to that list. These are the list of countries by child labor rate that partake in sweatshop practices for child forced labor or forced labor of an adult. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's go by country, by religion that partake in child or forced labor. It's hard to believe, but many fashion brands, name brands, are still using sweatshops. Child labor and modern slavery cases are still being reported, particularly in Asian developing countries such as Bangladesh, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and the Philippines. And that's only to name 4 out of the 90-something we know about. Clothing brands use these inhumane manufacturing methods to cheaply produce low-quality and disposable clothing for high street stores. Okay. That's high value stores. So if you are supporting Adidas, Nike, or any other name brand, Under Armour, any of those, yeah, you are directly supporting human rights violations, sweatshops, child forced labor, yeah. For consumers that are new to ethical fashion, it is difficult to keep track of how and where your clothes are being made. As of 2021, imports of goods and services amounted to around 15% of U.S. gross domestic product. And this is just raw merchandises, materials, and supplies. This is not other things, right? So over 15% of that little tiny bit that's needed to make other things. Like the people that are supporting their family actually being abused in these countries. You know what they say? It's better to have a job and to be exploited than to have no job and not be exploited at all. And that's a fucking sad reality, but that is something that we, not even one person, has the authority, the ability to change, even if they want to. Even if you stop purchasing, you cannot stop the global market chain or capitalism. You can't stop that. You can't change this. This is still going on. And you guys willingly and ignorantly support it when the best thing you could do is go buy generic. Go buy generic because you're undercutting what those companies are valued at. That's the best thing you can do, but you're still supporting somebody and their family in a third world country being able to support themselves and feed their family. Because no job at all is going to, what? Harm them even more. To understand the brutality of American capitalism, you have to start on the plantation. If you want to understand global market and global capitalism, you better do your homework. You better do your homework before you start spewing off some ignorant fucking shit. So yes, me and my generic Temu Stanley Cup is supporting sweatshops. But you're doing it also when you buy a Stanley. You're doing it also by coming to TikTok, a communist Chinese social media